and welcome. You're watching The Money Show, your one-stop destination for all your personal finance queries. I'm Kavita Thapliyal, and today we have a very interesting topic on the show where we'll be talking about financial frauds. So LIC has come up with a statement for their policy holders. There have been incidents of phishing which have been reported, and where there has been a financial fraud with a lot of LIC policy holders. So what exactly are we talking about in terms of financial fraud when it comes to you being an LIC policy holder? We'll be deep diving into it. We'll be having a cyber expert with us, and later up on the show we'll be getting your portfolio queries answered live. And just in case you're also watching the show now and want to send across any of your financial investment details, you can WhatsApp us your questions on 8657974571. That's our WhatsApp number. You can also email us your questions on themoneyshow@etnow.tv. All right, so let's begin, and let's focus on LIC's financial frauds, or LIC policy holders who are facing this kind of financial fraud. I have with me Nitin Bhatnagar, Director, PCISS India. Nitin, hi, good evening and welcome to the show. Not that these kind of financial frauds are very new, but then, LIC specifically has issued a notice, a statement on X saying that, fraudulent media applications are being circulated under the name of LIC of India. Policy holders have been urged to be slightly more vigilant, and in terms of using the app or website, they need to be extra cautious. What exactly has happened, and what kind of financial frauds are we talking about over here?
Thank you, Kavita, for having me on your show today. And I think the important aspect, I think the frauds, and as you know, I think the fraudsters are trying to use different modes of, trying to fraud the people. And I think this time they have targeted the LIC policy holders. And I think what we are talking here is the fraudulent websites and the applications that are today designed to mimic the legitimate banking, insurance, or e-commerce platforms to steal money or personal information. That's what we are looking at here. I think the fraudsters are trying to steal your money by extracting your personal information through different modes of ways, that they're doing. Now, here the cyber criminals create fake portals to trick the users into entering the sensitive details, such as your banking credentials, your credit cards or the debit card numbers, or even the OTPs, leading to the financial loss and your identity theft. And I think we have been talking this of late, in many of your shows about, how you should be protecting your personal information and avoid the financial losses. Now, I think what is critical here, Kavita, is the phishing and social engineering attacks are becoming so common now, and I think the cyber criminals are trying to use these as one of the mode to fish the consumers or the policy holders in this case of LIC, and they are trying to dupe them and making fall into the prey of the financial frauds, where they are revealing all their information, which is also leading to the financial losses to them. Now, if I have to little elaborate on this, talking about phishing and social engineering, so we need to understand on some common indicators of phishing attempts. You have to be very, very sure of suspicious send addresses. The communication that is coming to you, is it coming from a genuine source or not? I think it's very important. Getting the generic greetings and signatures, spoofed hyperlinks and websites. Probably if you have been targeted through your WhatsApp or through emails or through different modes of social media, I think you have to be very, very careful whether the LIC is going to send you those kind of hyperlinks or websites to make the payments. You have to also make sure the spellings that is coming in those messages, that those are correct spellings, they have been spelled out correctly. The layout of the message is very, very critical here, because LIC has a very typical format where they send the details back to the consumers in some way, but you have to check those layouts. And last but not least, you have to be very, very careful of the suspicious attachments. Now, these are the different ways, indicators of getting phished by the cyber criminals. Now, social engineering is another way that visitors is doing something dangerous, right? I think where we individuals are tend to reveal the confidential information or by downloading the softwares. Now, there are different types of social engineering attacks, Kavita. I mean, I just want to tell your users who are constantly trying to be online, making payments for the different services, whether it's an insurance, whether it's buying something on an e-commerce website,
Right,
but they have to be very, very careful.
right.
So phishing attacks are the most common type of
No,
social engineering, and
but then how
several
can you
attacks and
exactly
several
right,
applications.
right? But then how
Yeah.
can you be careful? See, we are talking about a name like LIC. People are now participating in the equity market. Trying other investment instrument. But traditionally, LIC has always been that name of trust where you want to put your hard-earned money in. It's a name that's passed down through generations. People even now buy their insurance and investment products. So a name like that gets roped into financial frauds, and their holders get roped into financial frauds. We are talking about a huge volume over here, okay? Because it's just not urban India we're talking about. We're also talking about tier 2, tier 3. We're talking about small and mid towns also, who primarily just depend either on gold, real estate, or LIC as far as their financial planning or investments are concerned. I am really not sure about them being aware of what's a fraudulent website, what's a fake or a scam website, how to identify whether you are operating a website which is like a clone version of the original one. You are talking about social engineering attacks. How would you like to help our viewer who's maybe in a smaller mid town, who has an LIC policy, and has that threat, has that risk of becoming a victim to such kind of frauds?
Definitely, I think it's a very good topic that you have choose today, Kavita. I think it's very pertinent, and I think for the policy holders who are on even a in a rural area, probably, or a mid cities, where people are not aware of these kind of jargons that we call social engineering, phishing. But you have to be careful while dealing when somebody asks you to make payment online while you are making it offline at some cases. So you have to be cautious why this person is asking us to do payment online. You have to double check with your agent, whom you are dealing with, to make sure that this is a genuine link. One, first of all, this and this is coming from an authentic source. Now, the IC like name, they usually have a very standard protocol on their websites, and they keep sending some awareness collaterals back to the policy holders as well. And it says very clearly that use verified payment gateways which are mentioned on the LIC website. Now they have an app as well, so you can check on the verified gateways. Going onto the website, at least making payment through any unauthorized digital platform, I think, should be avoided in this case. I think the key is, Kavita, here is awareness and more caution, because we are all human being at the end of the day, and we do not want to miss any kind of a policy premium or payment that we wanted to make, right? And sometimes we usually take it to the last day or nearing the last day. I would request, try to make these payments, not waiting for those last minutes, making sure that make those payments well in advance, at least so that you patiently sitting and making those payments with a calm mind, because today the hackers target you because you are busy, you are not particular about your timelines and the deadlines to make these payments. So you have to be really cautious. You have to plan your payments accordingly, so that someone is not able to target you with these kind of mimicking through making it like looks like that it's a very legitimate way of making a payment. And you have to be cautious here. Don't get emotional, don't get attracted to any kind of variations that comes by in your standard process that you have been doing for years or months.
Right. Nitin, but we are also talking about LIC, one of the strongest institutions that we have. How do you think, what kind of an infra do they have, to protect their policy holders from a cyber attack maybe, or such kind of fraudulent activities? Because you deal with a lot of corporates and a lot of BFSI as your client as well, not only in India but worldwide. In terms of infra, cybersecurity infra, what's there on the table?
No, I think that's very critical. I think if you look at the regulatory body around the insurance sector, and whether it's a financial sector, which is in this case SEBI and IRD and RBI, they all are working very, very aggressively in terms of giving back to the corporates the best practices to be followed to ensure that the customer payment data is protected. One is payment data. One, on the other side, the consumer personal information is also well protected, and there are guidance, there are best practices that are coming from time to time, and there are measures that are being taken in order to ensure that the implementation of these guidance or the best practices are being put in place, because the supervision departments in various regulatory bodies are really very strict in on these, and I think they are, and we keep hearing about a lot of different fines that comes by from these regulators on different entities. So we are already seeing these kind of actions being taken, but I think uh, ensuring uh, ensuring the best practices followed will make sure that the customer payment data and the customer personal information are both protected, and the consumer itself is protected. I think I don't see there's a challenge. It's all about having it religiously following it, because implementation is always best when it's implemented properly, right? It's not about any it's just not about implementation of something or best practices, but you have to adopt these best practices with the interest of keeping in mind that you are protecting the consumer payment data.
What if you have become a victim of such kind of a fraud? Now, what is the damage control? Do you think LIC will be able to help? Because that will be the first door where the victims would go and just ask for help. I mean, they should definitely register a complaint also. But so far, what's been the turnout also of these complaints being solved, or you've got your money? What has been the turnout? What has been the ratio of people actually getting their money back from such kind of financial frauds, Nitin?
See, now I think there is a very structured. If you look at the Ministry of Home Affairs, they have given cybercrime.gov.in. So immediately, if any kind of fraudulent activity that you think has happened with you, you have to report it immediately on 1930. You have to make sure that within the time frame of 3 days you are reporting back it to the cybercrime cell. And I think there are cases that I've been hearing that they are getting a refund back, because immediately when the complaint is lodged, the accounts get freezed where money has been transferred. And post investigation, there are people who have got the money. In fact, there was very specific case that I want to highlight to your viewers, is that it happened in Gwalior in Madhya Pradesh. I think it's almost 6 months back, and she was a retired government lecturer, teacher, and a principal in a government school, and she was being frauded with by the cyber criminals. And in fact, what I have to know is that she has got her money refunded. It's just about timely reporting it to the right government websites, and the numbers that have been posted by the Ministry of Home Affairs. And I think there has been actions definitely taken on these kind of frauds that have happened with the individuals, and the system is getting really very mature as we talk today.
All right, so in a nutshell, one has to really be cautious, identify the red flags, and anything suspicious, really don't go ahead with your financial transaction or even the conversation that you're having maybe on your chat or on your phone. And if at all you are a victim, the addresses and relevant places to file your complaint, lodge a complaint. Thank you so much, Nitin, for giving us your time and helping our viewers understand the nitty-gritties behind such kind of a cyber fraud. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kavita. Thank you.
All right, time for a quick break, and post that I'll be joined by Gautam Kalia, who will be answering your portfolio queries live. So just in case you're watching the show even now and want to send across your question, you can do that on our WhatsApp number and email ID. See you after this break.